Hello there, friends. Welcome back. It's nice to be back. I think I finally found a decent schedule to keep up with, even though I'm gonna post on a Thursday instead of a Friday, but I also want to post on a Friday, so I have 2 videos this week to compensate for not posting for a whole week or 2 the past month, I think. I'm happy that I'm getting so much support. I didn't expect people to actually comment and watch my videos. It makes me really happy. Feel free to give me any kind of criticism you want. Criticism is always welcome. I do want to know what I'm doing wrong. What do you want me to do? What do you want to hear from me? I am open to any suggestions, and I would be more than grateful if anyone told me if I'm doing something wrong, because I don't want to continue fucking up the videos and not knowing about it. With that sappy shit out of the side, I wanted to talk about the art community and what is wrong with it today. I watched a video on this by this other YouTube channel going by the name of Rise and Act. I just found them today and they're amazing. He had some really nice points in his videos and I am inspired to do my take on it. He was talking about how the art community right now, it's mostly fueled of drama, anger, and you being constantly on edge as an artist to try not to offend someone with what you produce. I'm gonna go by sections. First, I'm going to talk about how the art community was back in the day, let's say back in 2016 to 2018. The art community back then was mostly made out of animatics, animators, and commentating art channels here and there talking about bad commission clients, getting scammed as an artist, getting scammed as a client, my commission horror stories, how to get better at art, and mostly just wholesome content that doesn't really hurt anyone. If there was any kind of drama, it was mostly about people either tracing or stealing artwork. I doubt that is ever going to die out. If you trace or heavily reference something, people will go out of their way to harass you most of the time, and I do want to talk about that as well in my second section. But for now, I wanted to talk about what's wrong with the art community today. I think right now the art community is just filled with a lot of drama. It's very drama driven. People want to hear what he said, what she said, what she did, what they did. It's just a whole damn mess. People want to hear other people spilling tea about someone, and it's completely fine. I enjoy watching drama videos, and I know it sounds very hypocritical, but then on the other side, every time I watch those, a couple of weeks or months later, that video gets debunked, and we've been just hating on this person and trying to cancel them for no apparent reason, and their side was just misunderstood. As people, we do have different opinions on things, and as people, we are allowed to make mistakes, and we're allowed to learn from those mistakes. Most of the time, people forget this because we're behind a screen. So 99% of the time, people don't really think that there's a person behind the screen, so everything you do and say will affect this person. As sad as it sounds, most people just don't care at the end of the day. They just want their quote-unquote justice upon this person because how dare they leave an almost empty carton of milk in the fridge. When it comes to personal life mistakes, like friendships and romantic relationships, I don't think the audience should be involved in that if it's just some misunderstanding inside the party. What am I trying to say with that? If a group of friends are having an issue between each other, they should solve it privately. Because at the end of the day, it's just either a big misunderstanding or one side is wrong. If one side is wrong, that doesn't mean they're the spawn of the devil and we should go and cancel them for it and cut them out of our lives. Why don't we just allow people to make mistakes, and instead of canceling them, why don't we just help them? And with the misunderstanding part, 80% of the time that is the case. It is very sad and discouraging to see how the art community handles these sorts of things and any other community in general. I was thinking long and hard whether or not I should start making YouTube videos because of said drama. I know I'm not a perfect being. I've made so many mistakes in my life. And I know one day when somebody does call me out for the stuff I did when I was 16 years old, I know a mob of people with little to no understanding of my own damn life will come and try to cancel me because I did a mistake when I was a teenager. And that's part of the issue. Some of these things happened years ago, and they're just trying to call this person out, quote unquote, call this person out and hold them accountable for the things they did in 2015. Do you know how much a person can change within 2 years, let alone 5? Again, people don't stop to think or realize that the other person on the screen is an actual person in real life. Everybody is trying to act like they're a saint and like they did no wrong, and they're trying to prove some sort of sixth sense of justice if somebody does something wrong. Who are you to judge someone and try to kick them off of the platform for something minute that they did that you think and other people think that it is quote unquote wrong? Allow people to make mistakes. Allow people to grow from their mistakes. Of course, this doesn't apply for actual illegal activities, and I'm pretty sure all of you know what this means, and I'm just gonna leave it as that. I really don't want to get into that sort of things. I get very disgusted even thinking about it. The second part I really hate about the artist community is when a new artist or any other artist heavily reference or traces something. Hello, Editing Melon here. I forgot to mention something very important about this part of the video, and that is if you use somebody's art as reference for study purposes or just for yourself, you must credit it. Credit where you got your artwork from. You can't just leave it like that. You just take the pose, copy everything from head to toe and not shout this person out. It's still their own creation. They still have the quote-unquote right to the pose, even though you can't claim a pose, but if it's exactly the same when you put the images on top of each other, you have to credit the original artist. And if the original artist is still uncomfortable with you still having the post up, be respectful and take it down. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry, continue on, past Melon. I do understand where people are coming from with this issue. I know that it's kind of hard to accept the fact when somebody traces or uses your artwork as reference. You feel like it's not special anymore. You feel like somebody stole something very important from you. And on top of that, most of the time they don't even credit where they traced or where they heavily referenced from. With that, it still doesn't give people the power and the right to go out of their way to harass someone. Most of the time, these people are either new artists or they just don't understand that what they're doing is wrong. I first started doing artwork and posting it on Instagram, and almost all of it was heavily referenced from other artists I looked up to. Artists that I looked up to. This isn't just some random artist that I find and I'm like, ooh, I like this pose, I'ma just steal it. I did look up to these people. I adored their art. I wanted to be just like them. Thankfully, I did this in 2015 where tracing or heavily referencing wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. And thankfully, I was still a small Instagram channel, so nobody really called me out for it and nobody really tried to cancel me for it. I'm telling you all this not as to just call myself out for heavily referencing and tracing, but to give you an example of how this helped me as a beginner artist. It helped me so much to get the grasp of the idea of how to draw bodies and how to pose them. For a long period of time, yes, I did use these people's art as a crutch to help me draw, but as I continued to grow and learn from these people, I started to do it on my own. I stopped looking at their artwork, I stopped heavily referencing from them, and I just did my own original work. Yes, it was really bad and poorly drawn, but it gave me such a nice feeling that I can do something on my own and I finally learned something. I am beyond grateful for those artists that helped me grow and helped me learn. And they don't even know because I would just heavily reference or trace their work and just go off of that. But still, they hold such a special place in my heart. Every time I look at their artwork, even today, I still remember those moments where I would just get back home from high school and open up Instagram on my desktop and try to mimic the pose. It was absolutely embarrassing thinking about it now, but it still sparks that bit of joy in me, and it's a very nice memory of my art journey. When it comes to new artists tracing and referencing, instead of trying to cancel them for it or judge them for it, try to help them. Try to encourage them to draw on their own. And if they're still scared, give them some time. The least you can do is to tell them to put the tag of the artist that they're referencing in their drawing when they post it on any social media platform. Art is such a wonderful and nice skill to learn, but sometimes the community can be so aggressive to new people, it really just brings me down how big of an asshole this community can be to some people because they just don't know that what they're doing is quote-unquote wrong. But let's step back from the viewpoint of heavily referencing or tracing as a beginner artist and talk about tracing, referencing, or heavily referencing as a fully quote-unquote grown artist. I'm just going to say this right now. Don't expect every artist to draw from their memory, okay? I don't remember how a car looks like, let alone trying to draw a head. When you heavily reference something, it's usually the pose. Now, why I think this isn't a bad thing if you're just drawing for yourself and not drawing it for a commission, aka somebody paid you to draw their character in a certain pose. If this piece is for yourself or for study purposes, it's more than okay to do that. But if this piece of artwork that you heavily referenced from another artist is for a client that paid you to draw it, then it isn't okay to do that. This client is expecting you to draw them something unique, not trying to copy somebody else's pose. Using that pose as a reference and as a guide to what you want isn't a bad thing. I watched this really beautiful video from this YouTube channel called I don't know how to pronounce their YouTube channel name. I think this is their real name. I'll try to pronounce it. Hienan Laferty. Hienan Laferty. I don't know. English isn't my first language. I'm sorry, dude, for butchering your name. I'm gonna put his YouTube channel right here. Please check him out. But besides that, he made this really cool video how to quote-unquote steal like an artist. And he was explaining how you can take a pose that you like from somebody else's art and just change the whole perspective, movement, and the body structure of the drawing and just create your own piece. Now that's the proper way to quote-unquote steal someone's artwork or to use it as a reference. And I think this is completely normal. And I think we should just let people learn instead of judging them and witch hunting them, okay? Let artists learn. You have no idea how many times I've been scared when I use a reference because I'm scared the pose is way too similar to the reference. So I just get a mini heart attack every time I post something, and I'm unsure whether or not I changed the pose enough so it is something that is my own. And with that, I want to talk about the third part of the art community I dislike. We started to become scared to do and draw what we want because we're scared that people will call us out for something, because somebody got offended, or people thought that you traced something, or people thinking that you stole their OC design or their design or whatever. There's so much fear in the art community nowadays, it's unreal. Nobody can relax and just do what they want. Like, honestly, that's just how I feel sometimes. When I draw a person of color, I'm scared that I'm drawing him way too light, I'm drawing them way too dark. It's my first time painting a dark-skinned character that is for my D&D game. Her name is Andromeda. I love her. She is a druid and she's such a mom, and oh my god, I just love her. I'm sorry for ranting, but I was scared that I was drawing her the wrong way. I've looked at so many artists that have drawn dark-skinned characters to kind of get the feel of how I should draw them, because I'm just scared somebody will try to cancel me because I'm not doing it quote-unquote right. I remember back in the day, somebody tried to accuse me of being racist because my art was so bad back then, and I will show a drawing right now. You can notice that I drew lips way too fucking big for some reason. I don't know what inspired me or what artist inspired me to draw lips this big, but I put them on every single female character that I did. And you can tell, or you can assume that where this story is going. I drew a beautiful woman of color, but since my style had big lips, she also had big lips because everybody else that is a woman in my drawing had big lips. So I just did it to her, and I did not understand that, hey, this kind of looks sus. So somebody was like, yo, this is racist. And I'm like, how is it racist? I'm not being offensive. I clearly said in my post that I was trying to draw a person of color because I noticed I've been just staying in this bubble of just drawing white or pale characters. So I wanted to try and draw a person of color. But I fucked it up to the point where somebody thought I was racist. And this is why I dislike the art community. When they just jump into conclusions when people make mistakes in their artwork. Now, I am not talking about people actually being racist in their artwork, like the Thuman drama that recently happened. It's not even drama, that's just a serious thing that happened. I am so disgusted of people actually going out of their way to draw racist I can't say that word. Racist drawings. I'm sorry, English isn't my first language. You're just gonna have to deal with me making so many mistakes and butchering your language. But anyway, I'm not talking about people actually being racist and drawing racist things. I'm saying when people do a tiny mistake of just drawing the lips nose way too big of a person of color, and people just completely jump on the wagon of being like, you're just racist. Maybe they just don't even know how to draw a body, let alone a face, okay? When you notice that this artist is new at artwork and they do this kind of mistakes that literally I'm not saying it can't be taken as someone being racist, but try to be like, hey man, I don't want to offend you or anything, but this looks high-key not okay. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, or you're just new at artwork, but can you try to change up the face a bit, if you know what I mean? That is a way better approach than just straight up calling this person something so disgusting, okay? When somebody accuses someone of being racist, like, yo, that is actually horrible. It's like me going up to someone and calling them a Nazi. Like, yo, that shit ain't okay. We can't just accuse someone those things when they do a small teeny tiny mistake that they didn't even notice. And my final thing that I hate about this community is when people try to draw more risque things, more on the not safe for work side of artwork, and they call them disgusting and perverts for it. If there's a demand for that, and if the money is in that shit, why would you judge them for just trying to make a living off of doing not safe for work things? I don't understand that. Let people draw what they want. If they're a fully grown adult, drawing adult characters, doing adult risky things, I don't think there's a problem with that. A lot of artists do that, and there are still a group of people that just judge people for making not safe for works. To end off this video, I want to tell a story that happened to me involving a client that didn't pay me for the work that I did back in 2016 when I first started doing commissions. Now, when I was a wee bean first starting doing commissions, I wanted to get paid after the commission was done and after the drawing is sent, so I can treat it as like a quote-unquote real job. But that is the worst mistake you can do in your life. Don't do that. Either accept full or partial payment. Don't just send them the PNG without them sending you the full or final payment for their product. It's better to be safe than sorry. So what happened was I did this piece for them. They were super kind, super cooperative. I had no issue with them whatsoever. They wanted a full body character with a background. And I remember I was having a sale, so this full body was $13 along with the background. I didn't pay extra. I don't think I charged them extra for the background. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who knows? I don't remember. But that's not the point. I told them after I was done and after I sent them the PNG file to them, I was like, okay, money please. And they gave me the excuse, I still think it was an excuse to this day, that they spent all their money and they're gonna pay me next month. I was a bit shocked, not gonna lie, because I was new at this and I didn't know what I was doing, so I was really shocked and confused. So I was like, oh, okay, well, sure, why not? You can pay me next month. Come around next month. You can already guess that they refused to pay me again because, yet again, they forgot they had to pay me and they're gonna pay me next month. And now, this very moment, Melon Bean got angry. Very angry in that fact. I don't know what happened to me. I was so angry at that point that how dare this person not pay me for my work. Now I know people should be paid for their work. I fully agree with that. But the story doesn't have a nice ending, and I hate thinking back on this. Because what I did next was I told them I was gonna call them out. I called them out in the Facebook group that I was in for digital artwork. I told the people in the post not to go harass this person. But at the end of the day, you can't really stop a whole mob of people going to harass this innocent person. They weren't sure. What they did was scummy. They didn't pay their artists. But they didn't deserve to get bullied to the point where they just begged me for it to stop. This is how bad it was. They begged me to make it stop. And she was asking me why people are attacking her and why did I do this, that she was gonna pay me. And in that moment, I just blocked her because I was so angry and I thought that I was doing the right thing. Because I saw people in YouTube videos were calling these people out and it was the right thing to do. But looking back on it now, I feel so bad for letting this poor person get bullied because of me, because of my own damn actions, and because of $13 fucking, okay? 13. I value people's feelings more than anything, more than money. So when it comes to these types of things, I would rather avoid calling this person out. I should have just told them to not use my artwork, to block me, never look at me again, and say my goodbyes. I should have done better. Moral of the story is, your actions have consequences. Even though you think you're doing the wrong thing, maybe you should sit down, reconsider, or just solve the issue privately, instead of having one side bullied to the point where they're actually getting emotionally hurt. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, and I know my best friend still disagrees with me, but I think otherwise, and maybe other people will think otherwise. It wasn't a pleasant experience. Every time I look back at it, it just brings me nothing but sadness and guilt. And I hope the art community will slowly get better at handling quote-unquote drama. I apologize for this video being a bit longer. I don't want to make 2 parts because I just want to say what I want to say right here and now. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If I made any kind of mistakes, and if you think what I said was wrong or you have a different opinion, do let me know in the comments. I would gladly read all of your comments. I love reading them. I love getting everybody's support. It just makes me keep on going. You don't have to agree with me with everything I say, and I say this to my friends as well. Please tell me your side of the story. Don't just agree with me like a robot. I'm not expecting everybody to be the same as I am, and I'm not expecting people to have the same feelings and opinions as I do. So yeah, please tell me your side of what you think I should have done in that situation. Was I right? Was I wrong? Were my opinions on the art community way too harsh or stupid? Do let me know. But yeah, I hope all of you have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye!